A good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please make sure to subscribe and give this video the thumbs up. Today, I'm joined by my special guest, Abigail Rudkin, who is an artist and Liverpool fan, and my co-host and show regular, Aaron Thornton, will be on the show with me. And after the frustrating draw against Ipswich Town, which felt like a defeat, missed opportunities keep happening, and Aston Villa need to improve their Premier League form. And in that game, it was a real chance to take advantage of the opportunity, getting closer to the teams above us. In the Champions League football race, and on Wednesday evening, Aston Villa are up against the Premier League leaders, Liverpool at Villa Park, and Liverpool want to extend their lead even more at the table. It's going to be a difficult task for Villa. Liverpool are chasing the Premier League title, and it's a big game for both teams, and for Aston Villa as well. It want to at least get in the top 5 at the end of the season. It's great to have both of you on the show. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on, by the way. I love doing these little these preview shows for oppositions. It's very rare. I'm normally getting invited onto Liverpool shows. So I get excited when like opposition fans ask me to come on and talk about the games ahead. It is good because it's good to get opposition's insight as well, because I go into this game, like this Villa game, and I'm like so Liverpool orientated, and I'm like, right, this is what we need. We've got these players, sort of things. But it's great to hear like your insight, although it does also make me worry a little bit more because you guys point out more of your like your strengths that I'd be ignoring. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm dead excited.
And Andy, you sound like a very passionate Liverpool fan. What have you passion?
Yeah, do you know what? Oh, it's just it's frightening being a Liverpool fan at the top of the table at the minute. I try and be as passionate as positive as I can be, but you just get this dread because of when we've come against Man City so many times and we've finished a point behind. Now we're up against Arsenal. I'm like, yeah, this should be fine. We've got it. And then we drew against Everton, and you start to think, oh gosh, the Arsenal fans are getting a little bit of faith now. They're starting to think
that game against Wolves, I mean, that was nervy towards the end.
That second
half.
Oh, that second half against Wolves, I don't think we had a shot on target the whole game. My nerves were completely gone. If we perform like that against Villa, I honestly don't think we'll walk away unscathed with the 3 points. That's the thing for me, is that first half, I was like, we haven't even come out of first gear. Salah's doing really well. Like, this is what you want. We can go up a gear here and do even better in the second half. And that is just not what happened against Wolves at all. We sort of not collapsed is a bit of a bad word to use, because we still managed to control the game in lots of ways, but we don't, I don't know if it was nerves or the ground at Anfield. Normally it should be upbeat for these things, but you could feel the nerves. Like, you can just tell every single person in the ground, including the players, feels nervous and knows what it means if we don't get 3 points every single game. And you can just feel that now. And even I was nervous, and I was sat there like not really able to celebrate anything because you just don't know what's going to happen, especially when we concede that Cunha goal. He's just an
Yeah.
unbelievable player, and you just feel as though he can go and get
Oh,
another
yeah.
one there. And the dread hit me, so I'm a little bit more apprehensive now going into the Villa game. I would have been a bit more
I bet
hopeful.
you're very relieved
Yeah. Oh,
after that. What did you try to say, sir? Results matter. I
yeah.
think getting the job done, that's what matters.
I know. I think you look at a game like that and you think, right, this is like a performance of champions. If you grind out difficult
Yeah.
results like that, if you get the win in that game, right, that's the sign of champions. But if
Yeah.
we'd have conceded a goal there, everyone would have said Liverpool don't look like champions at all. Another 2-2, they've this is when
Oh,
they've
yeah.
started to fall away. So it literally is fine margins in terms of like how the media spin it, you know what I mean? Depending on how that game goes. But thankfully we don't concede that equaliser like we did against Everton. Which honestly, after that Everton game, that 2-2, I was fully expecting us to come out nervy, but we didn't in that first half. So I don't know what happened in the dressing room at half time, but they all come out looking shell shocked as if they knew
Good.
what it meant. All of a sudden, it was like we weren't playing with that sort of freedom. But there is relief about it, but there's also sort of dread of we can't go into other games like this. You've got Man City on the weekend. Never mind that Aston Villa game. You want to go and put a statement performance in against
Some big
City.
games.
Oh wow, is it City on the weekend?
Yeah,
Oh
City
wow.
on Sunday. So that's one thing. I'm sure we'll come on to it. But in terms of what sort of team we're going to play against Villa, you've got to have like one eye ahead looking at that City game. You know what I mean? So there's big games coming up for us. Never mind that final in March. We've got so many big Premier League games to worry about. That
What
yeah,
it is,
the-
the games come thick and fast.
yeah,
It don't get
definitely.
any easier. The fixtures keep coming.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
It's so funny.
A
I'm
lot,
here
yeah.
listening. Sorry, Chad. I'm listening to here saying, it's got this final coming up, and we know it's tough at the top of the table, and we've got to keep. I mean, you're in dreamland in a way. From another fan's point of view, you've because I mean personally, I don't think Arsenal are going to catch you. I mean, we might touch on it later, but I really don't want Arsenal to win the league because I can't really stand their fan base. So I really just
Yeah,
hope.
me too.
I hope you keep that momentum going, and I really, even if you slip up, which I thought you were going to slip up a bit, and you sort of had that Everton scare, but you seem to just always get over the line. I think you'll be fine. And I would rather you guys win it than Arsenal. So
I think there's a lot of that. I think the whole like Arsenal fan TV thing and a lot of the clips that go out from
Yeah.
that, it's sort of put people off sort of Arsenal fans because of
yeah,
how
Negativity.
confident they've been at times,
exactly.
things like that. It sort of sticks in people's minds. And I think even that whole like thing with the Arsenal fans and the City fans and even the teams. I think you can see Man City now just want us to go on and win it. I honestly don't think their fans will be too upset on the weekend
Yeah,
if we end up getting 3 points there, because there just seems to be this sort of like this shift in how people feel about Arsenal and like, the whole stay humble thing and then how they interpreted that and how they used it. And, I think there's that whole thing around it is everyone seems to be wanting us to win it this year, whereas a lot of the time people don't never seem to want us to win it. It's only our fan base people can't stand. But yeah.
yeah. No, I think I think Arteta doesn't help, and I think just the way that they've sort of the fans act a bit entitled, be winning it, and yeah, I think like Chad was saying, and the fan
Yeah.
base TV stuff can come across a bit toxic sometimes. I think it's just funny, isn't it? You just start to laugh at them in the end, and no, well, hopefully you'll pull it through and win. So
Fingers crossed.
Just not on Wednesday.
just not on Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
not on
not on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Good shout, Chad.
Well, I do like Liverpool as a team. I mean, this season Liverpool, honest thought they have been playing some scintillating football.
Mm.
I think they've been really lovely to watch. They're a joy to watch. I think Liverpool.
I think there's been this whole thing of oh, Liverpool are boring to watch seemed to be a narrative. Like I think TalkSport started it. They were like, oh, I think Liverpool are boring to watch, but I don't feel that way. Obviously, we had the football under Jurgen, which was very like feisty, the whole rock and roll football thing, and we all loved it. But you didn't always come out unscathed in those games. It never always felt
Yeah.
as professional as what we've got now with Slot. He seems to run games a lot more professional. I mean, that Wolves game's not really a great example of it, but we seem to start off games really calm and then the momentum tends to build in the second half. Like I said, we didn't see that, but that just seems his game management just seems so professional and so sort of calm and relaxed. Like he never, I think the Premier League refs are getting to him a little bit now, but he seems to
You
be
know, with
quite
Arnie
calm and
Slot, you don't never see him really lose
yeah.
his head. You
Mm.
know, Liverpool do really well, but he never gets angry really.
I think that Derby game against Everton pushed him over the edge. There's
And
a
that's
Yeah,
reason
that's
why he
the
got that
point.
red card.
and that's the game you want him to be. Sort of, if he's going to be best in the game, it's good that he sort of showed it in that Merseyside derby. You know what I mean? That's a big one, that isn't it? And I think it's quite nice to see that passionate side of him. I think he managed the media really well. I think one thing, with the Premier League, the media, the scrutiny is like, it can make or break a manager. And I think he's been very clever about, sort of Jurgen Klopp's squad essentially, and just not changing things too much, but like you said,
Yeah.
sort of little tweaks. And I think, you're still a joy to watch. And I think, you've got dangerous players, and I think you've also got players that have stepped up, like Gravenberch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gravenberch.
I
Yeah.
like him.
He's really good. I feel like he's a really good player in the middle, and I think you know, Slot's just sort of put an arm around a couple of players, and I think he's just made them feel like you are part of this squad. You can play well, and I think it's you've got some good things going for you. The only thing, obviously,
With
you've got.
Arnie Slot, he's
Go
took
on,
it to another level.
Mm.
yeah.
He's always yeah.
I
Should your
think this
contract
is
situation that, I
I
think.
think this is definitely another level. Like I don't think under Jurgen we thought you could get better than that. You know what I mean? And then this fella's come in, used
Yeah.
the same squad pretty much. I mean, he signed Chiesa, but we haven't seen that much of him. We've seen him in the odd cup game. He's impressed sometimes and then not in others, and hasn't even made the bench in a few games. So he's used Jurgen's team, and somehow we never thought it could get better, but he's managed to adapt it. And like you said, Gravenberch, he's turned him into this number 6 that we really wanted to sign. We were looking at Mendy. Obviously, it looks as though he's going to Arsenal now, but he's took players that we already had in the squad and been able to adapt them and use them to their strengths. Honestly, there's a lot of players, even like Curtis Jones, at times under Jurgen, you felt as though he wasn't being utilised and you didn't really know what his strengths were going to be. And he's managed to do that with so many players. Even Cody Gakpo, at some point,
Yeah.
Jurgen was putting him in an 8 or he was putting him through the middle, and that's just not his strength at all. And
Oh, Harvey
obviously,
Elliott.
yeah, Harvey Elliott massively. But I think the thing with Harvey Elliott is Klopp said, I wish I'd have used them more, and that's the one player that I wished I could have used more. But I still feel like Slot's not using him as much as he could have. I think maybe this Villa game might be the opportunity for him to give him a little bit more game time. But when you've got a midfield of Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, it's hard to find your place. And especially considering Elliott's chosen position usually is on the right wing, and you're never going to displace Mo Salah for as long as he's at the club. So it's just one of those. We're very lucky at the way it's come out with Slot, 100%.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Ipswich game.
Oh,
That draw was hard to take. So, what are your thoughts for the Ipswich game?
I mean, I caught most of it, and then I was driving down here from New York. So I sort of like, by the time I left, it was still 0-0. So I'll get out of the car, and it'll after a nice 4-hour drive, I'll sort of look at my phone, and it'll be a nice win for the Villa. Disappointing, I think. Look, first and foremost, fair play to Ipswich, because I thought, what I've seen of like highlights and stuff for the second half and whatnot. I know they went down to 10 men, and I thought they set it really well. I thought they were actually,
And Kieran
worth.
McKenna, He tactically got it spot on.
Yeah, exactly that, Chad. I think he was, he's a good manager, and I think they sort of came with a decent game plan. That got changed when they went down, man. And I still think it was a good setup from them. But from a Villa point of view, looking not no disrespect to Ipswich. I think it's a game that we looked at and thought, okay, we really want to try and get this top 5. These are games we should be winning. And to sort of like 10 men for so long, and with the firepower that we've now got, not just with Watkins and Rodgers, but with Tencio and Ramsey up there, like to not capitalize on that was just a bit disappointing. But the biggest thing for me, Chad and Abby, was the fact that we can't keep a clean sheet. Like we go into this Liverpool game on Wednesday, who were like known for scoring goals.
Well, this season,
it's just
clean
shocking.
sheets have been the big problem. And you've got a goal difference.
Yeah,
So at the end of the
-3.
season, if that comes down to goal difference, that could come into it, that could.
Spot on. And exactly that. We can get these wins, but we need the goals. And if we keep conceding, it's not going to help. So, yeah, if we get back amongst the sort of top 5, but we're on the same sort of points, our goal is just shocking. I think it's -3, which, like, that sort of shows you actually the performances haven't been great. So we're almost in a bit of a false position in many ways. So yeah, Chad, my overriding thought was disappointment. I think we're just a bit sluggish at the minute, and we have been for the last couple of months. And I look, it's a grueling fixture list, but all teams have got to go through it. Look at Liverpool; they're going through it as well. But they're still finding these wins, and I think there's just a mentality within our squad that isn't there. So disappointing. Look, it's better than losing, obviously, with the circumstances and the fact.
But we would have been though. It don't really get us anywhere. We wouldn't be at the end of the season.
Yeah. Do you? How was you were at the game, right? How was?
I didn't go to the game, but I watched it.
You were at Tottenham, weren't you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but what I analysed though, it felt like even though it was a draw, it felt like a defeat.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and these home games, no disrespect to Ipswich, but those are the fixtures that you need to be winning, especially at home at Villa Park. I know we get to this stage of the season now, we can't afford to make mistakes, and we seem to keep dropping points.
I mean, if you be positive, you can look at it and think, well, I think Newcastle, Forest, and Chelsea all lost. So, like, it's a point on them if you want to be positive. It should have been 3 points gained, but you could look at it like that, I guess. But I don't know how times results are going to go in our favor, and we don't capitalize. It's going to come back to haunt. But just I think, like you just said, I think you hit the nail. It felt more like a loss than a draw. And you look at those sort of games like Liverpool Wolves, that was a game that really they should win. And like Abby was just saying, it was a hard fought game, but they came through it and won. And that's the sort of resilience you need if you're going to be up there, sort of challenging for the sort of for the big the sort of top 4 or 5 spots. So hopefully we can try and galvanise. But we've got a massive game on Wednesday now.
Well, we've got a big game. Have we got Chelsea?
And then Chelsea
Saturday as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, in Villa, though, you never know. I mean, Aston Villa, they seem to turn up in the bigger games. So maybe, they might more like, go in for it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was at the Man City game over Christmas when I came back, and like that was an unreal performance. And I was like, "Where's this?" Well, yeah, well, just do this every week. I understand like players get tired, but it's I know it's just frustrating. Really frustrating. I think we had a few misses as well, which we should have scored. And to be fair, their goalkeeper was like unreal. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
he was in some of those saves. So I mean, credit to him as well. Like you just got to give credit to them. And sort of, as bad as our performance was, that's nothing new. We've been like that for the last sort of 2 months now. So it's like, same old Villa, isn't it? We have that chance to try and close the gap, and we just don't quite do it.
So even Morgan Rodgers, He was kept very quiet.
Yeah.
The other way forwards, pocket of space. All the Ipswich did really well. Disrupting Rodgers. And they limited us to not many chances. And you got the likes of Watkins. No, he didn't really get to sleep either. That's
That's the
what
thing.
I observed.
Do you think we're becoming predictable? Like I feel like last season we
Predictable.
we were this free flowing team that was
Mm.
scoring goals and really sort of attacking with purpose. Whereas like now, I feel that because we like to play between the lines so much, like your Tielemans and Rodgers, that's important positions. But like teams are like finding that out now, so they just block those. And like you just said, they'll keep Rodgers quiet and they'll keep Watkins or T quiet, and then sort of like
Yeah.
we don't really have a plan B.
No,
Abby's
that's the
listening to all this.
problem.
This is great news, man.
Yeah, I'd be, what do you
That was
make of
it.
that result?
Do you know, that was one thing I was going to ask you is, in terms of Villa, like looking at your form between the results, it flip flops. Like you never seem to go on a run of brilliance.
Consistency.
That's the thing, that there seems to be a lack of consistency in terms of the way you've just said. That felt like a defeat, and obviously against Ipswich it's going to feel like a defeat, but when you come up against the likes of the lap, they're going to score goals. You've got to outscore them, and that's something that you didn't do. And that's something with Liverpool. With us, we've got so much firepower going forward, whether Cody Gakpo's injured or not, we're not 100% sure. But when you've got Mo Salah there, you've pretty much just got to outscore us in a game like that. And with us being so
Yes.
good defensively, you've got to sort of pick where to go at. And I think our left side, Andy Robertson, Simicast, it's not as strong, I'd say, as the right side. I mean, there's Trent or there's Connor Bradley. I'm hoping Connor Bradley probably starts this one.
He's
In
good.
terms of you bouncing back from a game like that, how do you normally react? You've just said it felt like a defeat. Do you think the players sort of bounce back from that? Like with our Everton game, you wanted the players to come out fighting, and they did do that in the first half of that Wolves game. Is that something that you tend to see from Villa? Do they tend to come out fighting after a bad result, or is that the sort of thing that can knock you going forward?
What it is, might be after that. They might like give it the role. It might give them something to focus for
Mm.
going into like a big game like that. What it is with Villa, they produce in the big moments. That's what we need, obviously, on Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah, it's a good point that you make, Abby. I think Unai Emery's pretty tough. So I think like after that performance, he would have 100% like laid into the players, and, said that was a missed opportunity. So I mean, usually there's a bit of reaction, but again, like we've been that inconsistent. Like you'd expect us to come out at least the first half, like sort of firing a bit like you were with Wolves. But sometimes like we're a bit flat in the first half, and then he'll get into them at half time, and the second half is like a different team. Like we've very much been a team of two halves this season. You should expect a reaction after Ipswich, but I genuinely don't. Because now we've got another in Kamara, and like we've not had. I think that's like our 10th centre back pairing we've had this season. Which look, every team,
Kamara,
but
he
it's
really
like,
struggled again, playing out of position.
yeah,
He didn't look comfortable at all.
no.
It made me feel nervous.
Yeah, so like that's another weakness. Obviously, Mings will start, I imagine, unless Konza's fit, but which is
What do you
great. But
imagine?
obviously is vulnerable at the minute. So I mean, defensively, we're so frail. And Torres, who I know we'll touch on later, he's a big part of how we play. He's been out for 2 months because he sort of sets up. He always starts our sort of setup, but without him, we don't really have that ball player, which sounds a bit weird saying a centre back's the ball player, but like he's that integral to how we play. So I expect a reaction, but I honestly, to answer your question, is I know what to expect. We're just that inconsistent. So I do think
And
Rashford might
Disarte,
start though.
I
Sorry,
think
Jack.
he did all right. And Disarte, he
Yeah,
didn't do too much.
yeah. He looked all right. He looked all right, solid, sort of assured. But I
What
think
that ball that he made, that good pass to Watkins.
yeah,
Watkins could have scored from there. That could have been a goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, well,
And, and Garcia. I was really impressed with Garcia again.
he looked good. So our new right back, yeah, he looked. He's sort of getting stronger every game he plays. I think he's definitely going to be one that will keep improving. Um, I just think that we just need to sort of have a bit more at the back now, but you can't really, can't be assured, can it, with injuries and stuff. So, but it's good for him. He's going to have a very, very different challenge on Wednesday. So we'll see what he's made of. But no, I
With
was impressed with
Garcia,
him.
it's good competition for Matty Cash. And I don't think he could push him for starting place between them. It'd be interesting.
And they're sort of different right backs, aren't they? So like, it's good to have the options because in certain games, Matty Cash might be better used, or in other games, Garcia is a bit more robust about him. He can tackle. He can sort of he's physically probably more of a presence than Matty Cash. Whereas Matty Cash, attacking wise, is fairly decent. So good options to have, man. They just need to all be fit. That's the issue.
Yeah, and Garcia, he's more attacking minded.
Yeah.
I think the defensive side of his game needs to get better, but he finds a lot of space. And that game against Ipswich, some great touches on the ball. And the way he uses the ball, he utilises the ball really well. I'd have to say as well, I have to mention this, but I think Marcus Rashford, he made the real difference. Him and Asensio.
He could be the key against Liverpool, which obviously Rashford being a Man United boy as well, I think he's going to be bang up for it.
He looks good against Liverpool.
I'm dreading if Rashford plays. I am dreading it because just for him being a United boy, just the worst person you could want to score against us is Rashford. If Rashford plays well against us, I will be devastated. But you know what the thing is? Obviously, he is a United boy, but all that stuff that went on with the way the club treated him, you don't really. I mean, of course, he's still going to be a United boy, and that's just how he's come up the ranks, sort of thing. But is he still going to be as bothered? Will he give us a big celebration if he scores against us? I will be absolutely devastated. Will it be United loyalty sort of thing, especially with all those comments? I don't know if you've seen like Jadon Sancho commenting on his post about freedom, about the whole freedom thing.
He's You see that, Chad?
No, I didn't see it. No, don't think I saw it. No.
I think Rashford, after his first Rashford played for us, he put like an Instagram, it's like
okay,
the game, whatever, and then on the comments, Jadon Sancho, he put like freedom with one of those like praise sort of emojis, and it was Rashford fed it, but it was just like, I mean, that just sort of shows the levels of maybe the toxicity in the dressing. That Jadon Sancho didn't help, but I mean, I think Rashford's distanced himself from that. But yeah,
I don't know, because these players are definitely going to have private Instagrams and private conversations and their own private media. For that to be posted by like their main accounts, the accounts that are probably going to have people who monitor them, it feels calculated to me. Stuff like that, for something like that to be posted so publicly. If you really felt that way, put it in a group chat or commented on your private Instagram. I feel like, do you know what I mean? It feels very calculated, and if Rashford didn't agree with that, these things just seem very calculated to me when they're public. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So
I didn't think of it like that.
Rashford. I've always liked Marcus Rashford. I've been a big fan of him for years. I actually think against Liverpool, I'll be tempted to start him. That's my personal opinion.
I think he might. I honestly think he might, just because he made an impact. He might start him, and I don't think he'll play the full game. I think he's either going to like be a sub and come on, or he'll start and come on. I do think the fact is Liverpool, the fact that he made such an impact and essentially scored a goal. with the free kick and stuff. That was a good free kick.
Yeah.
And I think just because of like his passion towards Liverpool and stuff, I think he would celebrate if he scored. I don't think he would be directed at Liverpool. I think he's just probably that frustrated over the last few months that it would all just come out. So I got a glare on my screen here. There we go. So yeah, interesting. I think he might start as well, Chad, though. I do agree with you.
And Rashford, in that Ipswich game, he made a real difference. In the way he brought so much energy. And all along the way, when he gets the ball, he's very direct. I don't think he showed a lot of pace. And, he gives you confidence, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, actually, if he was on the pitch earlier, we might have won that game.
He reminds me of like every team has those players that like you sort of stand up off your seat for when he gets the ball. Like Ashley Young back in the day when he was at Villa was just amazing for that, and Leon Bailey last season. But like he proper, I mean, he's like I don't know, barely any minutes in 2 games, and he's like nutmegged about 3 or 4 different players. It's like he's a talent. It's undeniable talent, and it's up to him. Sorry, I'm aware I've got this glare on my screen. I'm in my uncle's office. I don't know. Like, there we go. Sorry. So yeah, no, I think he's a bit of a throwback player in that sense.
So what he does as well, Rashford, he creates openings for other players. He creates chances.
Yeah.
As well. The same what Asensio was doing. Because him and Asensio, they must be training together. They must be doing something in training. You can see it's working.
Yeah. I think as well, it just takes time. I don't think they're match fit either, are they? Either of them. I think that's why they've not started. I think they've both sort of been on the fringes. Rashford's been out completely. So I think I don't think they'll both. I definitely think either Rashford or Asensio will start against Liverpool, and I think we need to, because we need to really go for this game. It's going to be a tough game, but if we want to get sort of back in amongst it, we have to go for it. So to leave that sort of firepower on the bench, I think would be a risk. So I think
Liverpool a few problems. I think if we did that, maybe
Bradley could be in for a torrid time.
Just, I was going to say, what do you expect from the game, Abby, on Wednesday night?
It's just so hard to predict now after the way we finished that Wolves game. I'm just hoping that we come out nowhere near like that second half. I have never seen us play like that under Slot, where it just looked as though we were given absolutely nothing. Like the
Really?
players of the only play, yeah, honestly, the only players on the pitch that really made a difference were the subs. Once Wataru Endo come on, and obviously Kwanzaa had to come on at half time because Kanate was on a yellow, but he probably could have been sent off for the challenge that he made. Well, he bashed heads with someone, but he probably could have been sent off for it. And I think we were all thinking the same. Slot's got to take him off at half time because you can't risk him. There's just no way you can have him get a red. And then, we've got so many big games coming up. Obviously, there's Villa and there's City. Kwanzaa came on, and Kwanzaa's been one at centre half where we've all sort of lost faith in him. He's the only player, I think, under Slot that hasn't progressed since Jurgen left. Slot had Kwanzaa playing as if he was going to be like this mini Van Dijk's probably a bit of an overstatement, but he had that sort of cool collectedness about him that you see in Virgil. He was obviously learning from the best, but there's something about since Slot's come in where Kwanzaa just doesn't seem to be at it. I don't know if it's personal reasons or what. There's been a lot on social media about him. I don't know if it's something like that, but there's something about Kwanzaa where he just hasn't really been stepping up to the plate. But yesterday in that second half, he made a few brilliant chances. He made one towards the end of that second half, which probably saved us the 3 points. And I can't see him starting. I think we probably do see Kanate and Van Dijk, but those players, they had to step up to the plate, to be honest, because the attacking force, I don't know what went on. There just seems to be a little bit of a just disjointedness when you don't have Cody Gakpo there. He's a player that's come out managing to get goals, which is something that we've really needed because Mo's had to pick up the slack of absolutely everything. Obviously,
Yeah.
Jota's really injury prone, and Darwin Núñez. I think a lot of us are giving up on Darwin Núñez. Obviously, he gets us 2 really important goals
I was
this
going to ask you
season.
about Nunes. Like, I like him, but I haven't spoke to many Liverpool fans about him. But the general sort of feel is that like you just sort of, you're sort of done with him.
The thing is apparently we had a £77 million offer from Saudi Arabia in January to take him. Us Liverpool fans, we missed the days of that whole Mane, Bobby, like Salah, that whole sort of front three dynamic. And I think that centre forward position's where we're missing. Obviously, we've got Diaz plays really well on the left, but we've tried the whole thing of putting Diaz through the middle and Gakpo on the left, and it's not working as well as we were probably hoping. Diaz isn't being used to the height of his strengths, really.
You
That
got
left
a lot of
wing,
plays.
yeah.
Got a lot, yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Diaz is he's better on the left wing, but so is Gakpo, so where'd you give them the game time? Darwin Núñez, you want Jota. If you can have one through that centre forward position, you want Jota. Núñez, I don't know how to explain it. He's got everything sometimes, but then right in front of goal, he lets himself down. He does not have that end product at all. I don't know if it's when he has to overthink it, he misses the easiest open goal you could have for Darwin Núñez, he'd miss it. And then really overcomplicated ones where he hasn't had time to think. In a second, he'll put it in the back of the net. And it's hard for us Liverpool fans because that frustration builds when, the likes of Mo or whatever have set up a goal for him, or Trent's put a brilliant pass into him, and he still manages to mess it up when he's got either loads of time to think about it. And it just seems to think when he has to think about it, he gets it
But
wrong, and it's so
Nunez,
frustrating.
he's
Yeah.
actually good at impact. A good
Yeah.
impact player for the bench.
Yeah, that's the type of player he is. If you can have him on the bench, and if it's 1-1 or something on Wednesday, and obviously if Núñez hasn't started, you look to the bench, you go, right, this is time for Núñez. He's an impact player. He can come on and he can make that difference. Sometimes they call him Captain Chaos, which I'm not that fond of, but he can come on and he can bring a bit of madness. And against Everton, he come on and it actually looked like that the attack sort of connected a little bit better. It looked like there was a bit less of a disconnect. I think it's hard. I think a lot of us have just sort of give up on the idea that he's going to be able to reach those heights. That Robbie Fowler said recently about like a lot of the time when he was younger, he was told about like, oh, you were born with this brilliant talent. But he was like, it took a lot of hard work and effort, and he doesn't believe that Núñez can't still work towards that. But I think a lot of us Liverpool fans, as we were going for titles, like we're still on for a treble. I mean, we probably won't do that. Our priority is the league. A lot of us are getting fed up with that. He should be burying those goals, and we might have more points because of it.
Taking
So
chances.
yeah, exactly. I think if we get offered 77 million again in the summer, I would be willing to take that and then maybe go to Newcastle and look at Isak, who sounds as though he wants to move to Arsenal, but apparently his options aren't closed and he might come to Liverpool. I think he'd be a brilliant fit. But then obviously, as a Liverpool fan, even though we're going for all these great things, we've got those 3 contracts over our heads. None of them have been signed. I did think if we get after Christmas and Trent, Virgil and Salah haven't signed, then I'll
It's fit
start
Alexander
worrying.
Arnold. He's been linked with it. Real Madrid.
Yeah, massively, massively so. And it sounds as though that he wants to go. Marca in Madrid and Spain are sort of putting it forward as if he's agreed to go there, and
I
none of
think
us
it'll
really know
happen.
about it.
It probably will
Well,
happen, I think.
The thing for me with the 3 signings is if you can keep
They're
hold of
big
Van
as well.
Dijk.
They're big. If they don't
Yeah.
sign, they're like, sorry, they're all 3 of those is like one of them, okay, but if all 3 decide, it's like that's a bit of a rebuild, isn't it? Really.
I think the whole spine of the team goes then. Because when you think about a Liverpool team sheet, you definitely think Van Dijk, you think Mo Salah, and you probably do think Trent. I think we're quite lucky that Conor Bradley sort of seems to fit the slot playing style. At right back a little bit more than maybe Trent does. I think Klopp and Trent sort of had this whole thing of Trent was probably his dream player, to be honest. Some of those passes he could do, it was beautiful football, which is
His
exactly what
passing
Jurgen
range.
Klopp loved.
His
His
passing
passing range.
range.
Oh, unreal, yeah.
Oh,
Unreal.
unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And you can't replace him in that way. That's the thing with the contracts is maybe you've got Conor Bradley there, but there's things in Trent's game that you can't replace. In the Premier League are going to miss him. Like getting to watch him fling some of those balls in,
I agree.
unbelievable. Yeah, you'll miss him. That's the thing. But it's the same with Salah. If Salah's not in the Premier League next season, it's a massive loss to the league. So us
Massive
Liverpool
loss.
fans, we've got that looking over our shoulder. And I think in terms of going into the summer, if we did lose all three, our owners, you've literally probably got to replace the left back because Robertson and Simicast, they're not really up to scratch. Robertson had a terrible game yesterday. It doesn't look as though he's not trying. I think that's one place where Villa can probably capitalise on us because Costas and Robertson at left back, it's a struggle there. You can get past them. That's a problem. You can just get past them. Obviously, you can get past Trent sometimes, but you know, he tends to get himself out of a mess sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know, if you're replacing left back, right back, you've got to replace a centre back, and we probably needed another one anyway because Konate is quite easily injury prone. Obviously, Gomez is injured at the minute, and then you need to replace Mo Salah and probably Darwin
With no
Núñez as
Salah,
well.
his goals and assists record's incredible. But I'd actually say one of Liverpool's best players in history.
Yeah, 100%.
He's up there.
100% he'll go down. He will. He'll
Agreed.
go down as one of our best players ever. The records that he's breaking. I think people are quite scared to say, oh, yeah, he's a legend already because while he's still playing
Yeah.
for us, you look back on these things and you go, oh, yeah, he was a legend. But Mo Salah's going to be a Premier League great. He's going to go down as one of the Premier League greats. We'll be talking about him in 10, 20, 15 years about how much of a difference he made. I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna
hard to
shoot him.
appreciate it.
He's a great crosser.
Yeah.
Oh, he whips it in. I love the way he whips it in as well.
I didn't realize, like, I was watching something, I think the Premier League random league, like on a random evening, they'll put on, like, I don't know, Mo Salah's best ever goals or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of the goals he scored, like, you forget, because he's got so many good ones, like, you forget some of those goals that he scored for Liverpool over the last, like, few seasons are unreal. Like, they are, how quick he is with his feet and how he bends the ball in, like, from mad angles. He's just, yeah, absolute maverick. Like, he'd be a loss. I think as well, just touching on Abby's point from earlier, going back to Trent, from an English point, I think he'd be a massive loss just because, like, we want English talent. I don't care what everyone says about his defensive work. Like, I know it's relevant, but I still think he's one of the best talents to emerge, to emerge in the last, like, few years. For him to then go and be playing in Spain, like, good for him. And you know, Madrid's a massive. Like, there's not many bigger clubs or big as the same clubs as like Liverpool and Man United, but Madrid's one of them. To be fair, so good
Biggest
for
in the
him.
world.
But, like, him to be playing in the Prem, man. See him because he's, like you were saying, Chad. His passing range is such a joy to watch.
And I like
So
about him as well.
it'd be a shame.
He's versatile.
Yeah,
Many different positions he can play.
yeah, you can.
Oh, I'll be so devastated if we end up losing them. But
I don't think
Trent
we'll lose
is
all
what
three.
Trent is the one that we're all like we've sort of all accepted that he's probably going to go. So let's get the best out of him now that we can this season, and at least let him walk away with the Premier League. I think Man City's the game that he'll start. I think Conor Bradley comes in against Villa 100%. He's a little
We'll
bit
go
more
back to the game. In the game on Wednesday, I think concentration is going to be very important.
yeah.
We can't lose our focus. To get to them, we have to keep concentration.
I think if you lose concentration 1 second against the likes of Trent or Salah or whatever, Trent can just pass the ball like miles pretty much, and then we're in then. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
It's one of those you've got to be constantly on top of us. I think you've probably got to put 2 or 3 men on Salah a lot as he starts going into the box. I think that's a massive thing. Concentration for Villa against us is a big thing, 100%.
Well, it's Salah. I'm at the bottom between Luke and Dinya. That would be an interesting battle.
Old Evertonian as well.
Of course, yeah. Everton link
Yeah.
point.
Of course, yeah, that's a good point.
But Luca Digne, me and Chad say often been one of, if not one of our best, one of our better players this season.
Yeah,
He's been really
also,
good. So I mean, yeah, I think he's all of his experience. I mean, we're gonna have to double up on Salah. But there's no two ways about it. I think he'll need help from. I imagine Ramsey if it's Rashford that starts Ramsey, they're gonna need to double up on him and help and defend because he's just so much. Random. Does the 7-2 ever haunt you guys? I've never spoken to people about this. Does that ever sort of I know is it COVID season, a bit of a freak season. Does that ever sort of come across your mind, or is it just one of those?
I'll be able to remember it.
Oh god. It's one of those things that I have completely blocked out of my mind and tried not to think about because that was one of the worst, probably one of the worst nights as a Liverpool fan was going through that 7-2 was absolutely dreadful. Do not remind me of that when we're going for the title. But yeah, no, it's definitely. Do you know what stays in my mind more in terms of Villa is that last game of the season when you were playing Man City and Gerrard was your manager and you were all 2-0 up. And we scored, and Salah and Matip after we scored ran over to where we were and was like, "What's the score? What's the score?" And you had lost it by then. City were already
3-2 we
winning,
lost, yeah.
and the actual dread as we had to all go to Mo Salah, 3-2, and the actual the colour drained from his face, and he just looked absolutely gutted.
Really?
And I'll never ever forgive you for that game.
Well, you
That
can
game, that's the
blame
thing that I
Gerrard for
think.
that.
Blame
Sorry.
Steven Gerrard, yeah.
Yeah, we great player, but as a manager, I mean, I know he's a legend for you guys. So I'm not going to slate him, but wow,
No, I agree. Apparently, I mean, I didn't see the game, and I never want to see the highlights back ever again because I do not want to know how it collapsed. But a lot of people were saying that he took Coutinho off, and that sort of changed the whole dynamic of the game, and that's when you lost it. And it was so poetic for us Liverpool fans because it was Gerrard's the manager. Even though he had that slip and he didn't win the Premier League title, he can win it for us against City. And he's got Coutinho there who left Liverpool under bad circumstances to Barcelona and it didn't work out. It felt very written in the stars for us, and standing in the ground and getting score results and seeing that you had let it slip.
I bet you're gutted.
I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. And I think that probably changed that Champions League final that we had a few weeks later because I think we were all so deflated by then and absolutely shattered. That probably changed history in terms of whether a club might have won the quadruple, because obviously we'd won the cups and all that. But gosh, I'll never forgive you for that stress.
Sorry about that.
I go back to Wednesday. I think the game against Liverpool, I think the game could be won in that midfield battle. I think that could be crucial.
Yeah.
And for Aston Villa, we need to use Yuri Tielemans as much as possible. Get him on the ball.
Tielemans is an absolutely quality player. Apparently, Jürgen was looking at him at one point when he was with us about maybe possibly getting him. He is a quality player. I think the midfield's probably somewhere where we're really strong. We went through a phase where our midfield had completely gone stagnant when you had Jordan Henderson and Fabinho had lost his legs and all that sort of thing. But now we've got Szoboszlai, McAllister and Gravenberch. I think we've probably got the strongest midfield. So that battle will be massive if you can manage to win in the middle of the park. That'd be huge because
Well,
that is
even
probably one of
Liverpool.
our biggest strengths.
Liverpool as well, they've got a lot of strength in depth. But even if Alexander-Arnold, he don't play there, you could put Bradley in there, and he could do just as good a good job.
Yeah, I think with Jones only got a 1-match ban after the argument he had with Decore. Argument after the Everton game. That he should be back. I can imagine maybe Curtis Jones starts this one, possibly. Harvey Elliott, I don't think he'd start both of them, but I think there might be a little bit of a change there just to sort of rest some of them up going into the weekend. I mean, even if you put Endo in, he was brilliant against Wolves in that second half, in that number 6 position. Even though he's so small, that's one thing is he lacks height. he wins battles. Like he puts a gum shield in and that's it. Like he will
Yeah.
literally go and put his body on the line
Mhm.
and do absolutely anything that it takes to win that ball back. So I think maybe you might even see him come in for Liverpool. So if it's not that standard Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, I think there is strength and depth there in terms of quality. Yeah, we're quite lucky in that way. In that way now, in terms of squad depth.
I think like
Well,
you were
I
saying, Chad.
want to talk about
Go on, sorry, go on, Chad.
Liverpool's record in the Premier League against Villa. Generally, it's been very good, but especially at Villa Park. So I want to get it on the screen. Let's look at these on the screen there. These are the last 6 Premier League games at
Oh
Villa
wow.
Park against Liverpool. So obviously last season, we had the 3-0 at Villa Park. When John Jerome got a last-minute equaliser.
Oh yeah, yeah. Captain. Oh, another captain. Duran. Yeah.
Then obviously they got 3-1 victory for Liverpool. The 2-1 victory for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And obviously the 7-2 on there. Which you don't want to remember.
Don't be
And
showing
you
me
got,
that one.
they got 2-1 victory for Liverpool. And the 6-0 victory
Well,
for
I
Liverpool
remember.
that we would have to guess.
I took my friend's son to his first game. I had a season ticket. I think it was the last season I had a season ticket before I sort of came out here. And I took her son to his first game, and it was a 6-0 back. And I was so gutted. I was so gutted. It was horrible.
So we don't get your storage, was it?
Sturridge,
Only,
yeah, I want to
that's
say
it.
Firmino.
The
No,
relegation season.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, my last, yeah, it was horrendous, but yeah. Okay, so the record's not great for us then, really.
No.
Not at Villa Park, no.
Mm-mm.
More than 7-2.
Yeah.
Do you have to get that in again, Abby?
Do you know what? You genuinely never know. Like, obviously, I want us to win the league, and we can obviously go. I think it's 10 point. Yeah, we'll go 10 points clear ahead of the weekend,
Yeah.
ahead of Arsenal. So it's massive if we can
Yeah,
put that. If we
psychologically,
can
yeah.
put that 10 points in it, it'll be huge. That puts major pressure on Arsenal going into that game. But like I've said to you, that second half against Wolves, we were not convincing at all. So I wouldn't, based on this, I wouldn't write us off. Honestly, I really wouldn't, especially in terms of us conceding goals.
I mean, Arsenal, they've got a few injuries. So that's a good news for Liverpool, that is.
I think
Arsenal
the
got
thing,
Jesus and no Saka.
Havertz and yeah.
I can't see Liverpool. The thing is, even if Liverpool did slip, which I don't think you will, but if you lost a couple of games, like Arsenal will need to go on like a, what is it, like a, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 sort of winning streak of a run. I can't see Arsenal doing that, and that's not just me saying that because I'm against Arsenal. I genuinely can't see them doing it. I do think this title is yours. I really do.
The thing is every opposition fan are like, yeah, it's Liverpool's. Probably apart from Arsenal fans, but they're like, it's Liverpool's, and us Liverpool fans, because we've had it time and time again, where we've came second by 1 point and we've dropped off the face of the earth at times after performing really well. Even last season and Jurgen's last season, people were saying that maybe we could go and do it then. Obviously, it was a 3-horse race then, and we ended up finishing third. But I think there's always that doubt in your mind as a Liverpool fan because we have done that so many times where we've thought we were going to win it and we haven't. I mean, in terms, at least we're not the chasers this time. Obviously, we're the ones top of the league and they've got to chase us. And I'm very happy. I'm very, very happy that it's Arsenal that we're coming against instead of City because Man City, they can go on that run. That run that you've just described there, Man City could do it time and time again.
That's fair.
And I do think you're right, Arsenal probably can't go on that run, but until I literally see the red ribbons on that trophy at
It's true.
Anfield, I will believe it. Like I don't know. I think we're just so reserved towards it. I think as much as we all believe in the back of our minds that it's ours, there's always going to be that dread. And even Arsenal picking up those injuries, we could only be 1 or 2 injuries getting picked up
With
away from
Arsenal,
being in a bad
the
situation
last few
ourselves.
seasons, they've fallen at the final hurdle.
Yeah. It's Yeah, it's pretty much the two people that have come up against Man City and fell short that are coming up against each other. But I do think we look as though we've got more capability of being able to do it. And we've obviously got the likes of Salah and Virgil and Trent and that and Robertson who've won the Premier League before and know what it takes to do it against the tough side. In terms of like how things are being predicted now, they reckon Liverpool might end up on 91 points and Arsenal won't break that sort of 85 sort of thing. So I'll start to believe soon if we get these 10 points, if we get to the 10 points, and obviously you're Villa fans and you don't want that to happen. If we
Yeah.
do that, I might start believing a little bit more, and then it puts proper pressure on Arsenal.
So,
But
Abby, with all these slots, did you expect him to be doing so well?
not a chance. Not a chance. I got absolutely abused after I did the overlap in August last year because I said I think we've got to go for a top four here. This is going to be a massive transitional season. You lose a figure like Jurgen Klopp and you think everything's going to fall apart because you think he felt like he was the glue of Liverpool. Like he kept us all together, even the fans. Like we all absolutely adored him,
He's a
and
big
it felt
Big
like
personality.
shoes
losing
to
him.
fill.
Yeah,
Big shoes
losing
to
him
fill.
to me was huge. Exactly. Losing him to me was huge, and anyone who's willing to fill those shoes has got to be a brave man. But he's come in and he's done so well, and I did not predict it at all. I thought we'd be going for top four, maybe a good trophy run, but he has gone above and beyond all expectations. I think we've been really lucky, and I think the club have picked really well in terms of who they went for because we were looking at Amarim, and obviously Man United are in a completely different situation in terms of owners and squad and atmosphere around their club, but you know things could have went very differently.
True.
I like the way as well with all these slots. Like during the game, the way like he tweaks the tactics. Look, that's what I like about him as well. Like, he's a very good tactician. And even in like games, he's good with squad rotation as well.
Yeah, his game management's brilliant. Like at times when we really do just need to shut up shop, like he knows to make those changes. Like he will literally just take a forward off and bring Endo on. Like he will literally make sure that we've shut up shop. We hold on to those leads. I mean, obviously that Everton game keeps coming back into my mind as I say that. But you know, that goal might have been offside and Konate was fouled. But you know, we won't go over it again. But yeah, he's brilliant like that. He is. He probably manages games better than Jurgen did. And that's a lot. That's to say a lot. I think sometimes Jurgen could be very loyal to his players, like the likes of maybe Henderson.
Yeah.
And you don't see that with Slot. Like if you're having a bad game, he will literally just take it off. Like we saw with Konate yesterday, he wasn't taking any chances. Started the season against Ipswich. Quansah had an absolutely terrible first half. Took him off at half time straight away. He holds no prisoners, and I think that was probably a change that was needed.
We'll give it to the So
Yeah.
good one last point there. So we're gonna talk about Paul Torres. So why Aaron? We miss Paul Torres so much.
Yeah, I agree that we him. I sort of we touched on it earlier. I think he's so integral to how we play because for like his passing ability. I mean, I know everyone in the Premier League these days has to be a good passer, but in terms of how we sort of set up from the back and we build our sort of attacks, like he is key to that. And I know we've had Mings who will try, and we've had like Kamara in there, but obviously offer completely different things. So he's a massive miss, and more I think and he hasn't been at his best this season, but we were still winning games. And when he got injured, part of me was thinking, okay, well maybe he can have a bit of a rest and sort of regain a bit of form. But you then realise how miss he is when he's not in that. And I know he's not the most. I think Mings is more of the leader in that respect. But in terms of what he does, how he applies himself on the pitch, and how he plays, it's just a massive miss. And he sort of connects with Tielemans quite a lot. So yeah, I know he I think he put an Instagram post up last week saying that he's almost back. I don't know, there was no like time frame, but he said like close or something. So
Paul Torres is integral to the way we play. And he formed a very good partnership with Esri Konsa.
Yeah.
They understand each other really well. And we missed his ability. He's
Yeah.
a great passer of the ball.
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree. I think, yeah, him, because then obviously with Kamara was back in centre back, then we lost Kamara out of midfield as well. I think we've just been very disjointed with since his injury. Um, so hopefully he's back soon and we can sort of start playing the same. But it just shows, doesn't it, that Emery's you really have to buy into Emery's system and understand because like it seems very meticulous. Like every player's got their role. So we almost need sort of like I know, most squads you want two players in each position so they can sort of understand. So if Torres is out, Ming just try and do that, but passing isn't as good. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll more often than not he'll sort of misplace it or he might get intercepted. Not all the time, but it's nothing like Pau Torres. So yeah, you think we've got a fairly big squad on paper, and you've got these players, but actually, as soon as you lose a couple, it's like it's so important that they all know how to play the system because without Torres, we haven't looked our normal
And Paul
selves.
Torres, what I analyse from him, he always starts off attacks.
Yeah.
Like you look at a guy like, let's say, last season, I think it was that goal, just against Arsenal, I think, that
Hmm.
McGinn goal, that started from Torres.
Yeah.
The way he
Yeah.
plays it out to the back. Yeah, that's one thing that we missed from him as well. He
And
always starts
the
attack.
John Duran goal against Bayern, that was a Torres assist. He did that bit of space in those channels and he does it, and it's like it can split defenses sometimes, which is amazing. Like it's another sort of option to have in the squad. So yeah,
Even though
we
he's a defender, he plays like a midfielder. The way he passes the ball.
yeah, he does. Um, so hopefully he's back soon because I think especially in a game like Wednesday, he's going to be a massive. Um, So I don't know. Hopefully, I think John McGinn's gonna have a big game on Wednesday. If he's on point in that midfield, we should. But he's gonna have to cover a lot. Mara now, and obviously, isn't in. I think he's gonna have to be sort of defensively. So Wednesday's gonna be interesting. It really is because both
Yeah, I'm
could
looking
be
forward
go
to it.
for it. Yeah, no, it should be good fun. Good fun to watch.
So Abigail, we're going towards the end of the podcast. So, what is your score prediction?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. After that against Wolves, I'll say. Oh gosh. I'll say 2-1 Liverpool again because I think we're going to concede, but I need to have faith that we're going to win the game in the end. Sorry guys, but I think I'll say
No,
2-1.
fair.
I
It's
think
realistic.
Salah will definitely score, and maybe Diaz. Gakpo's injured for us at the minute. We're not sure he's going to be back. He should be back for City, but not this one. So probably see Diaz again. So yeah, I'll say they're the 2 goal scorers for us. Maybe Ollie
What about
Watkins.
you? What you, Aaron?
Yeah, being really obviously, I would love a win, but we can't give our defense is pretty depleted at the minute, and they're going to score goals. It's just a matter of how many. I may be inclined to go. I'll say 3-1. Super
Yeah,
negative, but I'm going to concede
uh, I'm gonna go with a 2-1 to Liverpool.
2-1.
So the side what Abby said.
Yeah,
You
fair.
got to be realistic. Obviously, I hope not,
Yeah,
but that's what my prediction.
I think
That's how I
that's
can
a
see it going.
fair prediction. Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Villa may surprise us. You never know.
That's it. They might turn up. You never know.
None of us know. We don't. Villa fans don't know.
Yes, Abby. Before I go, I was gonna give you a plug. So you did a great job with all your artwork and paintings.
Thank you.
You're very talented.
Yeah.
And very gifted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Gosh,
I like
I'm
that one that
working
you
on
did.
new pieces now. I'm
The
working on new
Jurgen Klopp.
pieces. Oh yeah, I know. Do you know what? That's sat right above me right now. The one that I did for Jürgen, I wouldn't sell that one because he signed it for me, and then I did one for him for his house as well, which I'll never get
That
over
looked
that day.
amazing. I
That
saw
was
I had a sneaky look on Instagram when Chad told me that you were coming on, and wow, yeah, well, like pleasure to obviously to be on with you and to meet you, and just yeah, your work was incredible, and it must have been an absolute dream to meet Mr. Klopp, and he looks so. I mean, he
Your
always looks
hero.
happy, but he didn't have that picture that you painted. So good job.
Yeah, that was the best day ever, but it made it so much harder on the last game of the season when he was going because it felt all of a sudden it felt more personal than it was. Like all of a sudden it was like, oh, I actually know this person's genuine and they're a nice person, and
Yeah,
now they're leaving our football club. Whereas
Yeah.
before it was very much like this big figure that I love is leaving, but once I met him and he was so lovely and complimentary in my artwork and so kind that all of a sudden it was so like it made it very real, and I think that's probably why I was quite negative when Slot was coming in because I could feel
yeah.
that figure was leaving the club. But yeah, he's absolutely amazing. I
And
owe him a
Andy, I
lot for that.
bet it's amazing as well for you to meet your hero.
Yeah,
Jurgen Klopp. That was an
100%.
amazing moment for you.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I can literally remember him walking down the stairs as he was entering the room, and it was mad. Like it felt so casual. The way he just walked over to all of us and was like, "Hi, it's all right, guys." Like he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Abigail, we should do a video. Like we should do a video holding the painting." Like that wasn't even my idea. That was his idea, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I think you can tell on the video of me and him that I looked like I was gonna start crying, but I didn't. I held it together. I waited until I got into the car and rang me dad and was like, "I've just met Klopp. That was amazing."
Well, you
Until
know,
I had a
Jurgen
little
Klopp.
bit of it.
I actually miss Jurgen Klopp myself. But
I
as
think
in
he
a
brought a
manager, one
lot
of
to
my
the league.
favourite. He did throw at managers probably also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And his
you
passion,
could not like him. You could not
real
like him. No one.
character.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
was a
Big
character.
personality, big character, just fun. Seemed like a fun guy, and it's nice to hear that you think and that you see is actually true. And obviously, you speak to someone who's
It
met
was
him.
so genuine. It was so genuine. Like I was fully expecting maybe he'd be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll sign that," sort of, "Oh thank you," sort of thing. But he was so like, Abigail, like to everyone in the room. He had like 10 minutes for every single
Yeah.
person. Like he
Wow.
was stopping to make sure he spoke to everyone. Like all of a sudden he was like, "Oh Abigail, we should do a video. This will be dead funny. I'll make you famous." All that laughing, and then I pronounced how you say my name, and he like copied it in Scouse, and like he was like, "Now say it in English, please," because of my accent. And honestly, he was, and honestly, they say don't meet your heroes, but that he went above and beyond what I was expecting. He's exactly who you'd imagine him to be. It was amazing.
That's amazing. Well, good
So,
job.
Abby, so where can we everyone follow you? Or where can they find your artwork?
So my artwork, I sell it on Etsy as art
Oh.
by Abigail R. So I do like prints and stuff, but the originals go directly through me. Like I deal with all
Mhm.
that and try and make sure that because if it all went through Etsy, I'd have to post them a certain way, and
Yeah.
I like to make sure that they get to the person like safe and that. So I deal with all that personally on art by Abigail R on Instagram or Rudkin_Abigail on Twitter. Twitter tends to be like the
Mhm.
main platform for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also trying on TikTok a little bit, but that's just Abigail Rudkin. But I'm not very good at TikTok.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not America. I have to be because like it's just the thing over here. But do you ship overseas?
Yeah. So, and things are changing a little bit at the minute with
Yeah.
like tariffs for America, and then Europe have brought in like
Mm,
GRSP or something like new regulations. So I
Mhm.
used to be able to do quite a lot, but it's starting to stop a little bit. But in terms of the originals and all that, yeah, all that can go overseas. But yeah, it's that thanks to Jürgen, I can do it full time now.
You did a
wow,
great job, and
good job.
you've been a
Thanks,
great
guys.
guest.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've loved this. This has
Yeah,
been great.
good to meet
I
you.
really
Good to speak.
enjoyed it, yeah. Thank you
Lovely to
everyone
meet
for
you.
watching. And thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to give it a share. And if you're listening via audio platforms, give us a good review on Spotify and Apple. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you so much, Abby and Aaron, for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I'm
having me.
going to wrap up this episode with Villa Forever and Up the Villa.